Greetings to everyone, wherever you may be. How are you today? Are you happy? Are you practicing Dhamma? Are you maintaining mindfulness? Let me know if the audio is okay. Can you hear me okay? If you have any question, please go ahead, send them in, and I will try to answer them for you as best as I can. I hope you can hear me all right. I haven't seen any comment yet, so let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm here today to answer some of your questions, or all of your questions if I can. Looks like there's no comment coming in. Okay, we have the first one from Sinati Gopalawa. Ajahn, if you continuously get negative thoughts, hard to forget, is there a way to forget and move on with your practice? Yes, you just keep reciting the mantra, Bhutto, or any other mantra. Every time you think of negative thoughts, just you can erase them by reciting the mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, or do some chanting. Then your negative thoughts cannot continue on. And when your negative thoughts stop, then you can stop reciting the mantra. And if they come back again, then you have to recite again. This is how you deal with bad thoughts. Good morning, Jack Linton. Greetings, Ajahn. Very happy to see you. Yes, we can hear you well, Ajahn. How are you doing? Are you practicing? Are you being mindful? Are you stopping your thoughts? This is the key to your success in meditation. You have to try to control your thoughts. Your thought is like an automobile. You have to know how to drive it. You have to know how to stop it. You have to know how to direct your thoughts in a way that will make you happy, not sad. So try to control your thoughts by using a mantra, chanting, reciting the 32 parts, or keep watching your body movement. Then eventually you will be able to control your thoughts. Chu Chin, good afternoon. And my respect to you, Ajahn. Sound is okay. Thank you. Hi, Eng EWE. If we are too rigid in practicing the Dhamma, sometimes difficult to live with society? Not really. You have to consider that practicing Dhamma is like going to the hospital. So when you practice Dhamma, you don't socialize. Like when you get sick, you go to the hospital and you don't socialize with people. How do we practice with moderation without harming our spiritual progress? You just have to divide up your time properly. The time you have to use for your work, your meeting with people, and the time for you to be alone and do your practice. It depends on how you want to divide them up. If you divide more time for your spiritual practice, then you will have more spiritual progress. If you have more time for people and things, then you won't have much time for spiritual practice then you will not advance in your spiritual practice. It's a matter of prioritizing your time. From Nigan Sam, the sound is okay. Ajahn, thank you. Hi, Vicky, Melina, Takulung. Dear Ajahn, I want to ask a question. How to overcome doubt? It depends on what kind of doubt you have. If you have doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, then you have to study the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. There are information you can find out about the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And once you have studied, then your doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha will disappear. From Sinani Go Palawa. Sound is okay, Ajahn. So good to see you. So good to hear from you also. Thank you. Somehow I kind of miss you when I'm not online, when I'm not on live broadcast. Just hearing from you makes me feel good. From Cecilia Wong, Satu, Satu, Satu. Hi Eng EWE. Without greed, it is difficult to move up the corporate world. How to have less greed in this materialistic world? You have to look at the stress that you have to pay for. The more greed you have, the more stress you will have. So it depends on what you want. If you want stress, then you have to have more greed. If you want less stress, then you have to have less greed. That is the way how the materialistic world works. From AJ Lu. Nice to see you, Ajahn. Nice to hear from you also. From Santi Fidianto. Satu, Satu. From Hok Kiong Teo, Satu, Satu. From Jack Ling Tan. Yes, Ajahn, we are keeping the 8 precept today. I was a little worried this afternoon due to the poor air quality from forest wildfire. I quickly kept mindfulness by chanting the mantra, and my mind became calm. I then continued with walking and sitting meditation. I feel calm and happy now. Thank you, Ajahn, for your Dhamma medicine. It is extremely effective, and it is extremely simple. We just keep forgetting it. All you need to do is just recite your mantra, the 32 parts, or do some chanting, or listening to Dhamma talks, or read Dhamma books. These are the way of pulling your mind away from stress. If you think about the world, your mind becomes stressful, because the world can never give you true happiness. It will always give you stress along with the happiness. So it's better to stay away from the world. Don't worry about the world. The world is like the weather. You cannot control them. So it's better to come into your spiritual world where you can have full control of yourself, where you can generate the best type of happiness, which the Lord Buddha said, the taste of Dhamma excel all other tastes. Excuse me. From Hai Eng why did the Buddha say the Dhamma is like a raft? Is attachment to the Dhamma bad, like carrying the raft? The raft is to carry you across the river. The Dhamma is like the raft. It carries you from the world of samsara to the world of Nibbana. Once you get to the world of Nibbana, you get off the raft. You don't carry the raft with you. It's like once you cross the river and you get to the other side of the river, you get off the raft and just abandon the raft. You don't have to carry the raft with you while you walk, continue on the other side. That's what the Dhamma is. The practice of dana, sila, and pamana is like a raft. It's designed to help you get across from the world of samsara to the world of nibbana. Once you get to nibbana, then you don't need the practice of dana, sila, and pamana. But it doesn't mean that you won't do dana, pamana, or sila. You do it accordingly as it is required of you. But otherwise, you don't have to do. From Adeline Chin Suki Hon to Ajahn. Thank you. Susan MacLeod, lots of love. Thank you. From Gleb Aldrich, hello Ajahn. Meta from Melbourne. I've been doing more meditation and I am able to notice cravings more clearly and seeing them as anicca, dukkha, anatta. But they are very persistent. Hopefully the practice weakens them. Thank you. I think here you might be misunderstood. When you look at anicca, dukkha, anatta, you should not look at your cravings. You should look at the object of your cravings, such as the sensual organs, such as money, people, and things. This is what you should look at as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. When you see the objects of your cravings are anicca, dukkha, anatta, then your craving will disappear, see. So you're not supposed to look at your craving as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. You're supposed to look at the objects of your craving, such as your sensual objects that you crave for your sensual gratification, like things you see, things you hear, things you feel, things you smell, things you taste or touch. These things are anicca, dukkha, anatta. And once you can see the dukkha in them, the suffering that they can give you, then your craving for them will disappear. So you should look at the object of your craving, not the cravings themselves. Then every time you have cravings for something, you look at that something to be anicca, dukkha, anatta. Then your cravings for them will disappear and won't come back again. From NG Kusalo, good afternoon, Nopa. Good afternoon, how are you? Michael Saw, Sadhu, Sadhu. Michelle Saw, I'm not sure how to spell it correctly. From Johari NG, Ajahn, Namo Buddhaya, Sukhi Hontu Bhante. I want to ask, when I do meditation, why the body can feel like hair on the neck standing up, like numb but not numb? Does that include piti? Sometimes that's how things happen when you meditate. You shouldn't worry about whether it is piti or not. You shouldn't even pay any attention to them. You should ignore them and keep concentrating on your meditation object, because these are not the things you want from your meditation. What you want is stillness of mind, peace, happiness, equanimity. That will eventually appear if you keep focusing on your meditation object. So don't worry about the other things that appear. Just if you can focus, if you can concentrate, you have to keep focus and concentrate on your meditation object. Eventually your mind will drop into calm and then it will stop doing everything. It will be just merely knowing and happy and has equanimity. Hello, sweetheart. Greetings, Ajahn. During sitting meditation, I was focusing on my in-breath and out-breath. At certain stage, I lose my mindfulness of the breathing. Can I start reciting Bhutto to regain my mindfulness? And then go back to focus on my breathing again. All these processes are done in one sitting meditation. It's up to you. If you can bring your mindfulness back to your breath, then you don't need to go back to reciting Bhutto. But if you cannot watch your breath, then you can use the mantra reciting Bhutto to regain your mindfulness. You can try both methods. If you feel that you lose your mindfulness of the breathing, try to bring it back. Bring the mind back to the breath if you can. If you can, then you have to recite a mantra. That's okay. I'll recite the 32 parts of the body. From He Learned Lim, Ajahn, how to sustain chanting mantra in our daily activities. Normally, after chanting shortly, it will wander off again. We just have to be persistent, that's all. Just you have to force your mind to keep chanting. When you stop chanting, then you have to restart it again. But actually, you don't need to chant all day long. If you find that you're not thinking about anything, then you can stop chanting. Chanting is like a break to stop the mind from thinking aimlessly. When your mind starts to think aimlessly without any reason for thinking, then you should chant to stop it from thinking. When it stops thinking, then you can stop chanting. From Richard Liu, good afternoon, Long Paul. Good afternoon to you too. From Morris Twite, Namaskaran Pra Ajahn. Morris Twig, I'm not sure Twig or Twite. Namaskaran Pra Ajahn. Thank you so much for your enlightened answers. Metta from Amsterdam Airport, KLM Schiphol Airport. Anumodana Sadhu with you all. Thank you. From Po Liang Soon. Sadhu Sadhu Ajahn, blessing Ajahn in good health. Thank you. From NTYG, Sadhu. From Gleb Ulrich, thank you Ajahn. How should we see the mental force of Tanha craving? You have to see it with mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, you'll see it when the craving arises. And when you see it arises, then you have to use wisdom, or you can use mindfulness to stop it. If you use mindfulness, you can stop it briefly. It will come back again. But if you use wisdom by seeing anicca, dukkha, anatta at the object of your cravings, then that craving will disappear permanently. How should we see the mental force of craving as natural part of the mind and not pay attention? You have to develop to the point where your mindfulness becomes automatic, ever present. Right now you lack the tools. to see to see the force of craving as a natural part of the mind. But as soon as you have continuous mindfulness, then you will see it, and then you can also stop your cravings, and get rid of your cravings permanently with wisdom. From Agnes Leon, can Ajahn please advise me? 1. Which sutta should a lay disciple begin with? Well, the first one I would recommend is the Mangala Sutta, the 38 auspicious practices, called the Mangala Sutta. Then you should study the first discourse, first sutta, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Then the Anattalakkana Sutta. Then the Atitaya Sutta. And then the 4 foundation of mindfulness, the 4 Satipatthana Sutta. These are the principal sutta that lay people and ordained people should study. They are suitable for everybody. At least you should know them. And then whether you can follow the sutta or not, that's another thing. But you should learn this important sutta first. These 5 suttas that I mentioned to you. From Joyce Chore, the sound is good. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you for your feedback. From NG Kusalo, Long Paul, may I know why during my meditation many of my past mischief appear like television screens? Because when your mind doesn't think about anything, then your memory will become more functional. See? Normally when you think, then your thought will block your memory from appearing, from your past action from appearing. But once you stop to think, then your memory of your past action can arise. From Ching B. Kiok, Ajahn Namo Buddha. I learned a lot from Ajah's answer to the questions posed. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Happy to hear that you benefit from our discussion here. Here's a question from assistant.ajahn@gmail.com. From Jason, may I ask a question here about ordination prerequisites? I currently have student loan debt and am on an income-based repayment plan, which means that I don't have to make payments if I don't receive income. The lender is the U.S. Department of Education, which means I don't owe money to a specific person. The loan will dissolve in 23 years. However, I wonder if ordaining would be bad karma. I have some savings from previous job to start a new life as a monk, which is what I have wanted for a few years now. Could Ajahn please share your thought on this? See, one of the prerequisites for ordaining is that you should not have any debt. You should have any obligation to pay your debt, because we don't want monks to be legally entangled with their debts. We don't want to see monks go to court or get put in jail. But if the conditions of your loan somehow will absorb you from these legal activities, will not get you in jail or get you to be entangled with the legal process, then I think it's okay to ordain. I think you will be allowed to ordain because the conditions say that if you don't have income, then you don't have to repay your debt. As far as I understand, but in reality, I don't know. You just have to find out by ordaining, and you'll see what happens. See if the person who do the ordination will accept you or not. If he accepts you, then you just go ahead and ordain, and we'll see what happens from there on. Check link 10. Dear Ajahn, you mentioned the Aryan realm in one of your posts. I am not sure what realm is that. Can Ajahn please kindly explain? We'll see the Aryan realm start from the Kama sensual realm, and then it goes up to the Rupa and Arupa realm, and then eventually it goes out of these three realms of existence into Nibbana. See, the first three stages of enlightenment, the first two stages, still the mind still exists in the Kama, the sensual realm. A Sotapanna and a Sakidakami still reborn as a human, can still reborn as a human. The Sotapanna not more than 7 times, the Sakidakami just once. And once you achieve the third level of enlightenment, becoming an Anagami, then you are no longer bound by the sensual sphere of existence. But you will still be bound by the Rupa and the Arupa realms of existence. Once you reach the fourth level of enlightenment, becoming an Arahant, then you are out of the Rupa and Arupa realm of existence and into Nibbana. So this is the process of the Aryan, from Kama or sensual sphere of existence. They move into the realm of Rupa and Arupa realm of existence. Then from there they go into Nibbana. Once you reach the fourth stage, becoming an Arahant or a Buddha, then you are outside of samsara. You will no longer be subjected to the force of samsara to bring you back to be reborn again. From Kek Yen So, dear Thanajan, greeting from Malaysia. Much appreciate your teaching in this Sunday. Thank you to hear your feedback. Okay, Richard Lu. Hi Ajahn, I am only able to perform meditation practices at night after my work. Someday it works really fine where peacefulness is developed. Someday the mind filled with thoughts and not easy to focus on the meditation object. I'm trying to be persistent even though I can't find peace someday and not expecting anything during my practice. Should I be consistent even though someday I'm just tired and exhausted? Yes, you should maintain your level of practice. And the result varies from day to day depending on other factors like how much you have been involved with your work, how stressful your work has been. This can affect your mind when you meditate. Also, the level of your mindfulness sometimes is high and sometimes it's low. But when you meditate, at least you're trying to develop more mindfulness during your practice. If you stop, then you will lose that practice. So don't worry about the result of your practice. As you know, it is not yet consistent because the factors that are involved are not consistent. Your mindfulness is not consistent, and the level of stress that you have to deal with in your working hour also is inconsistent. So the result can be inconsistent. Someday it is good and someday it is bad. But at least you are keeping it up with your practice. At least you have gained half of it. You have gained the practice. You haven't lost the practice. If you stop, then you will lose your practice. So keep practicing even though you're not getting good result all the time. From Hilan Lim, Ajahn, may I know what other drinks are allowed after midday besides honey and fruit juice? If we drink fruit juice, it will make our stomach more hungry with metta. Besides honey, you can drink sugary water, sugary drinks, like soft drinks, Coke, Pepsi. You can drink those drinks. You can also drink coffee and tea and other herbal medicinal herbal drinks. So there are other drinks that you can drink as long as they are not considered to be food. You cannot drink milk or any drink that has milk in it, for instance. You can also have cheese. Cheese is allowed in the afternoon. In Thailand, people mix cheese with sugar to make it more tasteful. So that is also allowed. But you have to be careful not to forget the reason for not eating is to stop your sensual desire. So try not to let your sensual desire dictate your drinking or eating. You should let these are these are things to help alleviate some of the problem with the body, but not to satisfy your sensual desire. From Ted Ang, dear Ajahn, how does one go from peacefulness from anapanasati to first jhana? You go automatically. As soon as you start focusing on your breath, you are, you are entering into the first jhana. And as you continue on to focus on your mindfulness, on your breath, then you will then go to the second and third, and eventually to the fourth jhana automatically. You don't have to move your mind from first to second to third or fourth. It will go automatically, like an automobile with the automatic transmission. All you need to do is put it in drive and then step on the gas, and then it will change the gear automatically. The same way with anapanasati. You just keep watching your breath, then your mind will enter into first, second, third, and fourth jhana automatically. From Agnes Leon, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Thank you, Luang Por. From Johan Hatono Ho. Dear Ajahn, Namo Buddhaya, Sukhi Hontu Bante. I want to ask, I had been meditating about 3 months. I started with 5 minutes and that advanced to 10, 30 now, even at least an hour. Does the more longer we meditate is better than short meditation? Yes, the more you meditate, the more likelihood that you will get the more result. But it's not only the duration that is the factor. Another factor which is very important is the level of your mindfulness. You have to have mindfulness. If you sit and without mindfulness, then it's just like not sitting. It's just not like meditating. So when you sit, you have to be mindful, either watching your breath, mindful of breath, or mindful of your mantra, reciting your mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto. Then the longer you sit, then the more result you will achieve. Currently, I don't feel any difference between short and long meditation. That's probably because your level of mindfulness is the same, so you get the same result. So you have to be more mindful, then you'll find that the result will be better, your mind will be calmer. So before you meditate, you should also develop mindfulness by constantly reciting a mantra or keep watching your body movement. Don't let your mind wandering into the past or into the future. Bring it to the present. Stop it from thinking. Then you will have mindfulness that way. Once you have mindfulness, then when you sit, your mind will become calm quickly and easily. From Helen Lim, Ajahn, I forgot to mention my question regarding why observing 8 precepts. I think your question is not clear enough yet. I don't know what you want to know. I forgot to mention my question is regarding why observing 8 precepts. Okay, I'm sorry because your question has already been answered previously, and I cannot go back to look for it now. So you have to send in your question again if you want to ask this question. From Palang Lat Nok, Satu, Satu. From Cecilia Gun Yok Sim. Dear Long Paul, what is sense restraint? Can Long Paul give some example? Sense restraint is to stop your mind from looking at things that will create sensual desire. Like don't look at a movie, don't look at a television, for instance. When you see television, then you have the desire to watch television. So try to stay away from this sense object. Stop seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching things that will give rise to your sensual desire. How is letting go connected to this sense restraint? Once you can restrain your sense, then you will stop clinging to the sensual object temporarily. When you don't see the television, then you cannot keep watching the television. When you cannot use your phone, then you cannot keep watching and using your phone. So this is what sensual restraint meant. Try to stay away from the sensual objects that can give rise to your sensual desire. If you look at food, then you will have sensual desire for food. If you look at your boyfriend or girlfriend, then you will have this sensual desire to be with your boyfriend or girlfriend. So you have to try to stay away from these objects to stop your sensual desire from arising. Then you will not be then you will be letting go temporarily of your sensual desire. From Si Mei, Krab Ajahn. From Henry Ho, Namo Buddhaya Bante. I have a question. Nowadays, women always dress sexy and seducing. If I get dirty mind from looking at them, am I getting calmer? Yes, you will start to have sexual desire. Then eventually you will then have to have sexual activity. So the Buddha said every time you see a sexy object, you should look at the asupa. of that sexy object. Look at the repulsive aspect of the body, like the skeleton or the inner organs of the body, internal organs of the body, like the intestines, like the heart, the lungs, the liver, and the kidneys. When you see these internal organs, then your sexual desire can be controlled, will be under control. So you have to learn to look at the supa before you go and see the sexy objects. As soon as you see a sexy object, then you think of a supa. Think of the skeleton, think of the internal organs of the body, or think of the excrements coming out of the body. When you think of these objects, then your sexual desire can be curbed and eventually eliminated. From Richard Bruce, many thanks, Ajahn, for answering my question earlier. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Okay, another question sent to assistant.ajahn.suchart@gmail.com from JP Poon, Malaysia. Question number 1. Why do I always feel that I am facing a terrible situation? It's just your habit, I guess. Some people just have this habit of fear of everything. So it's just a matter of your habit. This is how you used to feel. So you'll keep feeling like this. Question number 2. My wife told me that I caused her to suffer. You have to ask her, how did you make her suffer? To find out. You should not ask me. You should ask her. Maybe you don't love her enough. Maybe you don't give her enough. Maybe you don't do what she wants you to do. So she thinks you are causing her suffering. You should ask her. You should ask me. I'm not your wife. Question number 3. Do I sow all the karma I made? You reap all the karma you made. When you make karma, you are sowing. And when you sow the karma, then you will reap the karma that you sow. From Czech Lincoln, thank you very much, Ajahn, for the very detailed explanation about the Aryan realm. Thank you, you're welcome. From Sweden, thank you very much, Ajahn, for answering my question. Send in more questions if you like. We have another 16 minutes to go before we end this session. So if you have any questions, you can still send them in right now. But after 1 hour, I will have to ask you to stop. I have to give Dhamma talk again at about 2 hours from now. I give Dhamma talk every Saturday, Sunday, and observance day from 2 o'clock to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is my spare time here, my free time here, so I use this to communicate, to discuss Dhamma with you, to answer your question. Kun Bi Wong, Satu, Satu. Tan Kim Fong, Satu, Satu. Vichita To, Satu, Satu. From C. May, dear Ajahn, how do we overcome the 5 hindrances? Are the 5 hindrances only applicable during formal meditation? Or do we have to be conscious of the 5 hindrances in the daily life and try to overcome the hindrances at every living moment? Sadhu, and thank you. Usually the 5 hindrances we're referring to, they are the obstacle that prevent our mind from entering into samadhi or calm. So I think they are more having to do while you meditate. So when you meditate, if you have any of these hindrances, you have to know how to deal with them. If you have doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, you have to clear this doubt by studying the life and the teaching of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. If you have sensual desire, you should use sense restraint by keeping the 8 precepts. If you have anger, you should know how to use metta. You should forgive the person who made you angry. If you have sleepiness, you should cut down on your food consumption. And if you are restless and agitated, you have to develop mindfulness to stop your mind from thinking. So these are the 5 ways of dealing with your 5 hindrances in a nutshell. From polling soon, sadhu, sadhu. NG Kusalo Lumpur, sadhu, sadhu. Lumpur, your coughing is getting bad. Please take care of your health. Thank you. From Sally Shi, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Kun Bi Wong, sadhu, sadhu. Mio on meditation, sadhu, sadhu. Johan Hatan No Ho, thank you very much, Bhante Ajahn, for answering my question, sadhu. Dylan Elvis, sadhu, sadhu, Bhante, regarding 4 elements. From what I understand, they never stay in isolation, and all 4 elements always stay together at different levels. Not necessarily, sometimes they exist in pure form, like the water, the pure water, or the pure earth, for instance, or fire, or wind. Sometimes they combine and then they form objects like plants, vegetation, human bodies, animal bodies. Although there's high level of apo or water element, there's Patavi, Tajo, and Vayu element at different levels. We experience the Patavi nature of pure water when it falls from above, or when the water has the energy to move or even to destroy objects in solid state. Example, rivers, waterfall, flood. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's really not necessary to know all this into these details. You just know that they are what make up this world. That's all. So in various form of combination. And what you should know that there's no self in these 4 elements. That's all. There's no self in your body. This is more important that you should know that your body is not you. There's no self in this body. They are just a combination of the 4 elements. This is something more important. Don't worry about the things that you are not attached to. Worry only about the things that you are attached to. Try to look at them as being the 4 elements, not belonging to you. Your house doesn't belong to you. Your wife, your family, your friends don't belong to you. They belong to the 4 elements. They will return to the 4 elements. They will separate one day. So this is more important for you to look at. Not what you mentioned here. It's okay, but it's useless. What you should know is are the objects of your attachment. They are all the products of the 4 elements, the combination of the 4 elements, and one day they will have to be separated. They come to form and then they will dissolve eventually. From NG Eddie, NG Sadhu, Sadhu. Vieng Nakorn, Sadhu. Pabati Rai, yes, can hear very well, Ajahn. Thank you for your feedback. Lok Sawibi, Sadhu. Mary Ang, Sadhu. Si Mei, thank you, Ajahn, for the explanation. And please stay well and healthy. Thank you. From Richard Lu, apologies, Ajahn, just another thought crossed my mind earlier. Nowadays, I can see a lot of people are obsessed with amulets or any object that is blessed by a monk. Mostly the layperson are thinking about the power of these items. I was thinking the opposite, where this amulet, a holy item given by the monk, is for the intention of a reminder on Buddhism. What is your thought on this? Yes, your thought is right. All these amulet, all these Buddha images, images of teachers of Ajahn, they are to remind us of the teaching of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Right? They have no spiritual power whatsoever. They are objects. They're only a reminder for us to keep following the teaching of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. From Helen Lim, Ajahn, I practice meditation on observing the rising and falling of the abdomen. What do you call this meditation? It's the same, it's anapanasati. Only you move your observation from the tip of your nose to the abdomen. See? When the breath goes inside, then the abdomen will rise. When the breath goes outside of the body, then the abdomen will fall. So it's still anapanasati with a little twist. Instead of watching it at the tip of your nose, you're watching it at the abdomen. From Chompu MTR, Sadhu. From Desmond Go, Sadhu, Sadhu. From NG Kusalo, Luang Por, can you please explain why the celestial beings, after exhausting their karma, will be born in the ghost realm? No, once they have exhausted their karma, they will be born as a human. See, when your good and bad karma are equal, then your bad karma cannot take you into the hell realm, and your good karma cannot take you to the heavenly realm. Then you are bound for the human realm, for the human birth. Richard Liu, thank you again, Ajahn, for sharing your thoughts on my question. From Pauline Soon, what is the benefit of practice meditation by 30 parts of body and breathing? It will calm your mind, it will make your mind enter into samadhi. It will stop your mind from thinking. It will make your mind calm, peaceful, and happy. That's the benefit for practicing either the 32 parts of the body or breathing. They are meditation objects. From John Bengay, hi, watching from the Philippines. Thank you. How are you? How is the Philippines? Okay, everything in the Philippines? From Joy Chor, Tanajan, I would like to find out more about the samadhi. During the practice, when the mind calms down, I feel very peaceful and sometimes can feel like there is current passing on the skin. Also in the morning, can feel the body vibrating before awake. Is this normal? Whatever happens, you have to look at it as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. Don't have to worry about whether it is normal or not. Just look at it. It is anicca, dukkha, anatta. These things are natural phenomena which you cannot predict or control, but you can let go of them. They don't bother you. They won't bother you if you just leave them alone. Just know that they rise and cease. Just know that you cannot control them. That's all. From Kenny Lee, dear Ajahn, what is the best area to focus on while reciting Bhutto? Cause sometimes I feel tightness on my forehead while reciting Bhutto. Just focus on the word itself. Just focus on the word Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. You don't have to focus it on any part of your body. Just keep focusing on your Bhutto. And if you have any any tightness on your forehead, just ignore it. If you cannot ignore it, then you might have to change your method of, of meditation. Instead of reciting Buddha, maybe you should do some chanting first. Recite, chanting the Buddha quality, the Dhamma quality, and the Sangha quality. For instance, Iti Piso Bhagava. Keep chanting for a while until your mind become calmer. Then you can switch to Buddha again, or switch to watching your breath. From JC, Satu Satu, from Singapore. Thank you. From Pabati Rai. My question, Ajahn, I fall asleep so very frequently when I sit down to meditate these days. It wasn't like that before. I could meditate for some time, some weeks, because I was really tired emotionally. But I had been constantly watching myself, my mood, action, and emotional upheavals. Am I okay with falling asleep during meditation? If you fall asleep in your meditation, then you don't get any result, that's all. It's like sleeping, it's not meditating. So if you want to have result from your meditation, you have to be awake. You have to be mindful. So you should try to develop mindful before you come to meditate. Try to stop your thinking and by reciting a mantra or by chanting or by keep watching your body activity. Don't watch your emotion upheavals. They are not. They cannot give you. They cannot calm your mind like watching the body. Then you will have mindfulness, and when you meditate, you will not fall asleep. Should you fall asleep, then you should get up and do walking meditation instead. From Pauline soon, then could I have to study biology, 32 parts of the body? Yes, you can study, you can open up the book, the anatomy book, and look at the various parts of the body. But you can study the name in the Satipatthana Sutta. The Buddha mentioned the 32 parts, such as hair of the head, hair of the body, nail, teeth, skin, flesh, bones, and so forth. Here another question from assistant.ajahn.suchart@gmail.com from Asanka, Australia. When doing walking meditation, I use Buddha with each step. Sometimes Buddha word synchronizes with breathing instead of walking, and breathing synchronizes with walking. I do more breathing and less walking. What is the correct method for me to continue? Whichever method that will give you mindfulness is okay. The method that can stop your mind from thinking, preventing your mind from going into the past or going into the future, keeping it in the present, whichever method is okay. So when you meditate, when you do walking meditation, you want to stop your mind from thinking about other things, except about watching your walking and not thinking about anything. From JP Poon, thank you, Ajahn. Okay, we have 1 minute left before we get to the 1 hour mark. So if you are typing the question, you can continue on typing and send them in. If you haven't yet started typing any question, then please don't do it, because I will have to end this session pretty soon, and I won't be able to answer your question after the 1 hour mark. So stop sending in new questions. If you're typing the question now, do finish them and send them in. From Helen Lim, Ajahn, may I know what then is Vipassana meditation? As I was told by my teacher that rising and falling of Dhamma is known as vipassana. I think this is a misunderstanding. Yeah, when you're watching your breath, like rising and falling, you are doing samatha bhavana. You want to use the rising and falling of the abdomen to calm your mind, to stop your mind from thinking. See? Vipassana has to do more with the the nature, the three characteristic nature of the body, feelings, and mind. See? You have to study the body to see that it is anicca, dukkha, anatta. You have to see the feeling is anicca, dukkha, anatta, and the citta or the state of mind as being anicca, dukkha, anatta. That is vipassana. From Paul Liang Soon, meditation by 32-part body need to learn biology of inner body. Yes, you have to know the 32 parts. Yeah. And if you want to see, you can look at the pictures by searching in the internet for anatomy. Then you will see all the parts in the body. Mary Ann, dear John, may you be well and happy. Thank you. From Czech Link 10, dear John, the Buddha talked about the other world cycles. I am wondering if there's Dhamma in the other world cycle. If so, that means we won't be able to hear the Dhamma even if we are reborn in other world cycle as a human being. That's why it is such a rare and lucky occurrence for us to be born as human beings and are able to listen and practice the Dhamma. I often use this to raise my energy to keep practicing. Yes, because the Dhamma appears in the human world. The Buddha appears in the human world, and the Buddha teaches the Dhamma in the human world. Except for the special spiritual beings who are interested in the Dhamma, they can listen to the Buddha's teaching through his psychic power. Other than that, other realm of existence cannot hear the Dhamma or study the Dhamma. From Dylan Alvis, is it correct to say everything that we see are just colors? Or the vijnana of our eye only understand color and the rest is a mental model created by mano vijnana? See, you're supposed to see that everything is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca, constantly changing. Anatta, they are natural phenomena. You cannot control them. This is how we should see everything as anicca, dukkha, anatta. They can cause you dukkha if you want to control them, want to change them. So you don't want to change anything. You don't want to control anything. You want to let everything be. Then you will have no dukkha arising. From Johan Hatono, Dear Bante Ajahn, I had one more question. Losing our deceased loved one is very devastating. When we are always doing good deeds on behalf name of our deceased loved one, it is possible we are always connected to our deceased loved one. Usually you will no longer be connected to the departed because the departed, they will have to go according to their karma. So you have to forget them and let them be. Just look at your relationship with them is a temporary relationship, like people you meet on a plane or on a bus. Once you get off the plane or off the bus, then you no longer will see them again. From Jason Lee Bress, Dear Ajahn, I have been interested in Vedic astrology. However, an American monk teacher translator places it in a category of animal arts, which I disagree with because I think it is a form of divisive speech which perpetuates an unnecessary division between Vedic and Buddhist tradition. Would you please share an alternative translation or share some thought on this to bridge the divide? Thank you. See, when in Buddhism, when we say this, when we talk about animal art, we are talking about the art that is not conducive to enlightenment. That's all. That's what it means. The art that will keep you tied down to the world of samsara. So that's what it means by animal arts. It doesn't mean they are animal or degrading in any way. It means that it doesn't lead to enlightenment. This kind of knowledge doesn't lead to enlightenment. So you should not pay any attention to them. If you want to, it's okay. Nobody can stop you from being interested in any form of knowledge. But in Buddhism, we only encourage Buddhists to be interested in just the knowledge that will lead them to enlightenment. That's all. Okay, so that doesn't. The word animal doesn't mean to degrade any knowledge. It just doesn't lead to enlightenment. That's what it means. From Ong Apprentice, thank you for Long Paul's kindness. Appreciate all the teaching. Thank you. From Ya Chanija, Sadhu. Lina Gunawan, Anumodana Ajahn. From Christine Colley, dear Ajahn, when practicing Buddha on the inhale and exhale, do you keep focusing on the Anapana spot? With respect, Ajahn. Yes, you have to keep focusing on your breath at the tip of your nose. You can recite Buddha or not Buddha if you like, but if you use the breath, then you have to focus the breath at the tip of the nose. If you just use Buddha, then you don't have to focus on the breath. You can use Buddha alone, or you can use the breath alone. But if you use the combination, you still have to watch the breath at the tip of the nose. From Czech Ling Tan, much gratitude to you again, Ajahn, for your boundless metta and teaching us such beautiful Dhamma. From Dylan Alvis, thank you for the explanation. Sadhu, sadhu, Pante. From Helen Lim, appreciate and thank you very much, Ajahn, for your explanation to my question. May Ajahn be well in health and happy with metta. Sadhu, sadhu. Sime sadhu anumodanami. Okay, that's about it. That's about all the comments, and that's about all the time I have for today. Thank you for joining this Dhamma discussion. I hope you learned something and help in your practice to advance you further into the Dhamma world. In the meantime, please stay happy and healthy and safe. Thank you and goodbye.